I guess I don't know. I'm listening to it and I'm just hearing a lot of problems. And the problem with problems is that you don't know where to start, because you just see a problem and then you see another problem and you don't know where to start. But I think, you got to start somewhere. That's the thing, I think everything that everybody said here is very valuable. Joe, I mean, you guys are the opening film and you're the closing film. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's all making sense, but I mean, it's what you've been doing throughout the years that has, got you to kind of mold you to the kind of filmmaker that you are now. I mean, I've known Dorothy for a very long time, and for me, she's always been the film industry in Zimbabwe for me, along with Mona Lisa. I didn't know anybody else. I mean, we started off thinking, you know what? We're gonna do this thing called Authentic Voices. We're going to support the Zimbabwean film industry. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put out a slate and say we're looking for these kind of films. People are gonna send us scripts and off we go. We had this discussion actually with Nakai at DIF, and we're like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come to DIF and we're gonna put out a slate. We're gonna ask filmmakers to give us scripts, and we're gonna make movies. And she looked at us and she said, who's gonna write those stories? Where are the script writers in Zimbabwe? What kind of scripts do you think you're gonna get? You're gonna get millions and millions and millions of, 5 pages of someone writing some sort of idea, And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. We sat down with Thomas at DIF, and we're like, Thomas, we're coming to fund you guys, And Thomas is like, no. What's the point of that, We've just made this movie, Cook Off, which I think is a brilliant film, on $8,000. I was like, what? We made it on $8,000. We asked the actors and the actresses to come in and be share partners in the movie, and we're not gonna get paid. We're not gonna get a cent until their share gets paid. This is how we negotiate with them, and then when their share is paid, we'll get paid. So as the profits come in, it trickles from the bottom, from the grip, to the gaffer, all the way up to the top, and then finally the executives get paid. And so this model worked for us because, like what Joe was saying, that if we are passionate about making it, we will make it happen, And actually, out of that is where Project Greenlight came from. Because that's what Thomas was saying. He was like saying, filmmakers need to greenlight their own projects. They need to be the ones that come to you and say, hey, I want to do this project. This is what I need. I will pay you back. I want to do this, and this is my business model. Can you guys help me out? So we were like, wow, that's brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, how many other filmmakers are there in Zimbabwe like that who want to do that? Actually, get funded, pay you back, and think about their next film. We then started thinking about, sat around the table and we spoke to other members in the fund, and they were like, yeah, there's kind of like, and I stand corrected, it's kind of like command farming in a way. So we're like, hey, yeah, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like Project Greenlight, yeah, guy comes, he wants to make a film, he's got a business plan, and this is what he wants to do. So for us, it's really about, I don't know how this is working so well, because it's about community, Because if you're in a community, if one person is not well, then the rest of the community is not well, And basically for us, it's like we want to, firstly as a fund, be part of the community. And once we're part of the community, we want the community to approach us and say, guys, I'm not so strong here, This is what I need to do. This is what I've got. I wanna do this project. The other interesting thing that came out is that I don't know who was saying it. Someone was saying it. Yeah? They said, you know, we don't want to be funded. Funding is for films that have important stories to tell. So a certain film that has to be, the story has to be told, but you know, it's a very important story. And that was also another reason why we started the fund, because we felt, and I think this kind of, and I'm not gonna say whose film, who makes what kind of film, but I think this kind of would lend to someone like you, right? But you know, where there's these kind of stories that you think, hey, this story, it's not business viable, it doesn't make any sense, but what is it gonna do? It's gonna make people know that Zimbabwe, as a country, lost its currency twice, you know? It's going to make people know that people in Zimbabwe went through so much to get to the idea of where Joe is now, who believes in, hey, I'm just going to do things by myself, you know? It's kind of like stories that are very truly us as Zimbabweans that we need to tell because, hey, maybe we might be able to solve a problem somewhere else in the rest of the world, right? So really, to say authentic voices, I mean, and Prop was when we were speaking because we flew on the same flight together in here, you know, and Prop was saying, hey man, because he's like, he's got this guy's mind is just all over the place. So he's like, yeah, you know what? This is what so you guys are authentic voices, like yeah, so you guys gonna meet people, you're gonna have relationships, you're gonna mess up relationships, you're gonna help people here, you're gonna help people there, and I think what I started to realize is that we can't be one thing, we can't be solid, especially in this space that where already we're saying there's no film industry, we're a film community, so we've established that, yeah. You know, so all those ideas of we're coming in with a slate, we're getting the film, that's gone, you know what I mean? So for me, the two important things that I feel, and it's the reason why we decided not to come here and say we're refined, and you know, we said let's come and have a dialogue first, because we need to find out what it is that we're going to do here in Zimbabwe. So for me, the two things, and the one solidly we've come with is Project Greenlight, because we believe in it. We believe in someone coming to us and saying, guys, this is what we want to set off. And the other thing is we believe in that there are important stories in Zimbabwe that may not necessarily need to be a business plan, but those stories need to be told. And that's authentic voices.
Thank you. Norman, care to add?
Yeah, I think Tongai said it all, and I think one of the most important things that we also trying to find is what is that ecosystem, you know? And for us, that's a very interesting question. Of there's the filmmaker, there's the distributor, then there's the person, the marketer, then there's the person who's watching the film, the consumer. And somehow the money must circulate. So now we kind of like stuck in this place where you're like, okay, there's a possibility of funding films, but where do you fund them into, sort of? And I guess it's an answer that in trying to create this industry, Joe, we have to find the answer to that question. Even if it's a little answer, it's not an answer that we completely understand, but it's an answer of saying, okay, if I get funded this much and I get this much advertising and I'm pushing my, you know, DVDs and whatever, and I'm selling it to these people, eventually I'm going to make this much money and I can pay back this person this much money and I've made this much profit. And that's the first film. Let's use the same model and let's say now we make 2 or 3 films, you know? And now the biggest question that we have is who's who in that? Is it a possibility that now one person can be everything? Or is that really our disadvantage in not being able to talk, you know? And I'm talking about all the partners, whether if it's your Stake-Nico, whether if it's your advertisers. How do we facilitate an idea that even as a community, I love the word you use as a community, because a community is meant to come around and be able to see how this thing can work and have vision, you know? Otherwise, it's like, it becomes like a hustle. and it's hard to hustle alone because you will tire. And it's an interesting thing. You see old filmmakers and young filmmakers, and you see the older generation are kind of tiring. They probably had the same spirit as you in the beginning, where they're like, we're gonna do it come what may, you know? And obviously, late better than never, we come, and through private funding, someone's, is obsessed with the idea of, let's fund films. But we as a fund, we're trying to say, okay, let's fund films, but let's find that community. Let's find how does that community work, and how does this money sort of then become an investment, And I don't know, that was the idea for this project Greenlight, and we don't really understand how it works, but we were very inspired about how you guys made Cook Off, which you made it from, your own, like totally. It's owned by the creators, and somehow it's traveled the world, which for us it taught us something, that stories are important in that way. It's a lesson you learn over and over again, and the fact that you can never compare two films. I cannot watch a film from America and then watch a film from Zimbabwe and then compare them in any way, because they both have very interesting, unique stories that you could never hear. You'd have to watch the film, so it's an experience, So, in saying that, I'm thinking, hey, we have to do more of these talks. I think this maybe is the beginning of many, but I'm really interested in the idea of who is the community, and how do we go out of this discussion and try making that, if we think it doesn't exist, let's try and make it exist. Who should we be talking to directly, because they're breaking the link? And it's a matter of just sitting with them on a table and say, hey guys, here's the story. We're here, this is what we're doing, but you're here and you're missing, Anyway, that's, yeah.